Daniele Volante, founder of Chrysalida Eco Design. I love that word. A studio where nature, design, and well-being meet. An architect with international experience and deep training in therapeutic gardens. Daniele brings a sensory human-centered approach to green spaces, from hospital courtyards and yoga retreats to balconies, terraces, and community gardens. His work places the five senses, biodiversity, and emotional well being at the heart of every project, transforming gardens into spaces of care, regeneration, and connection. And today, he will share stories, insights, and evidence from years of designing for healing.
So I always start with this definition because it's something really like moved me sometimes when I think about it. It's something very, I think, kind of at the same time spiritual, but at the same time really realistic because we always use the word heaven or paradise, but most of us, like, including me at the beginning, I didn't know that was coming from the definition of the language, that was like a Semitic language, Old Iranian, that means actually garden. So when we refer to heaven or to paradise, we're referring to some green space. And it's really interesting because when we think about some, I don't know, kingdom come, or as we want to like define, we think about a green space. That it's really interesting because it's something that we define as garden, as an orchard, or even in the Bible in Hebrew, but also in a lot of language, it's like connecting with the green space, a green space with productivity like orchard, but at the same time, a green space that can be something related with wellness. And that's it. So it's really interesting that we have always the association, this connection between the wellness that we live and so the spirituality, our inside and interior part, most like intuitive and deep part. It's really interesting, and it's something we should consider more in our approach in our life as something like it's really important concept. So everything starts from here. So when we think about something positive, we think about something green as an evolution also approach. We all of us know how biophilia was the concept of biophilia. Actually, there was a first definition like that was more I mean was by Fromm, so by let's say psychologists, so was indeed the first. So I put the second time in order of time in the Edward Wilson, just because this was the more scientific or biological approach to the research, because before like Fromm defined the biophilia in a more psychological approach and intuitive, but this is the first time it's done by, I don't want to say research and some data at the same time. So as we are connecting the let's say the interior part, so the healing process and the science, I wanted to start from this. So the biophilia has innate emotional affiliation with human living beings. So this is a very important concept, because if we define also the healing garden, we cannot just don't consider the fact that it's also a connection with all human beings, but also with all living beings. So at the same time, like plants, like birds, like all the animals that live and have that makes the garden like their environment and the habitat. So it's something we should consider in order to live in a better way our healing garden. We will see step by step. So the biophilia in this way, let's connecting with the healing process and healing garden. It's something related with our evolution as species, and evolution as something that has always been like connected with us, as our body through the evolution is made as a tool to leave the green spaces. So actually our body is always in connection with the green spaces, because all our organs, all our the blood pressure, the heart, and everything related like that, our like biological like sensations are like measurable in order of the connection with green spaces and with nature. So it's something that we cannot share. So because most of our evolutionary history was made in a green space. So as we know in biophilia, it's like the child that is connected with the mother. And at the same time, this we will find it also in the healing garden, this deep connection of evolution, and at the same time, that is going between the scientific part, so the research, and at the same time the more introspective part. So it's something that we should really consider. So like going further, we will see right now like different part of the research who lead us to perceive the healing garden, the healing process as something that was like central for the recovery of the people and of the patient, but also for people in general, for their balance and their wellness. So I want to start from something that was already mentioned today. It was really nice to hear from Nuria like about forest bathing. I'm also like a certificate guy of forest bathing, and I love to combine the design with as well the research of this deep approach of wellness actually. So for the first time, there was like the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture and Forest together with the healthcare of Japan made this big experiment of conducted in 24 forests, and actually after the experiment they classified more than 75 forests that were like connected, done for the wellness of the people, in measuring the cortisol, the blood pressure, the heart rate variability through the walking and through the experiences, through the viewing, was really obvious. That was something that I always been like, thought, but for the first time, or one of the first time in which was taken into a healthcare system. So that's why forest bathing it's important, because now actually it's included in more than 20 countries like healthcare systems. So there is a green prescription made by doctor about forest bathing. So forest bathing, we can say, is really connected with the, let's say, the healthcare part, the doctor and prescription, because it's a medicine, it's a part of the healing too. So we should start from this part of the healing in order to understand why we arrived to the 20 country embracing this part of the healing. So yeah, this is just an image of healing garden, but we'll go through the research right now. So the healing garden research, so the scientific evidence of the health impact. So we start with actually all the knowledge that led us to design and to the thinking about design thinking, or when we do healing garden, therapeutic garden. So Ulrich was actually the first one to write down, thanks to his research, the garden improved in 1991 actually. So it was brilliant, this experiment, because it was done after a gallbladder surgery. So the 23 patients that they were inside this experiment, this interview actually, the evidence of this was like that most of the people who was watching, who was gazing, so the view of green spaces, especially trees, were recovering much faster, with fewer post-surgery complications, with fewer doses of strong pain medication, and went home early. So almost more than 8.5 shorter hospital stay. So we should consider that just the sight of green spaces. So when you're recording, just to see a green space, just to connect with the view and with the sight, with the green space, it makes you feel better. So we just have to consider this in order to understand how an impact can be strong and can be actually deep with the senses. If we do also an experimentation by senses about the space. So we touch, we smell, we taste. So this is the first evidence based on the sight. And it's very important because it's reduced stress and healing. So we go further. Very rich, and we have Claire Cooper, Marks and Barnes, that actually is one of also focus on pillars of the recovering research, and was done. This study is actually in 4 hospitals in San Francisco Bay Area, and was just a very deep interview made not only by to the patient, but also in the family of the patient, and as well in the healthcare staff. So nurse, doctor, surgeon, everyone was related. But the hospital was considered in the interview to have this deep analysis of the behaving in green space and other spaces. So that's why everything started in US, because there was a big interest, the hospital, to understand the impact of the definition. The Cooper, Marcus and Barr, the main issue, the main topic was how do you feel after spending time in the garden, and the effect like actually was also here, like in the forest painting, like really like leaving the space with all the senses was like relaxation and calm, but more relaxation and calm, increase the positivity and good mood, increase perception or generational mental state, increase ability to focus and compete. So all this aspect that seems not really related together, they're really related because we are not talking only about people who is recovering from an illness, from a pathology. We are also talking about people who work every day in a hospital, who work every day in a very hard environment, done with to deal with stress, to deal with a very strong competition, like not only competition, but a sense of performance, because also we should consider hospital as a performance, not in an economical way, but in a target of saving life or make people feeling better. So there is a strong performance approach as well. So we have to consider that this increase the ability to focus during a surgery, for example, for a doctor, for a surgeon, or for a nurse when she or he does the healing of a patient. So this is really something deep we don't really consider into the healing gardens, but we should consider, because the healthcare staff of the hospital is probably the core of the people who live the most the green spaces and the healing, because the patient goes and comes, some time comes and goes, but the healthcare staff stays in the hospital and live in the hospital for years and for life, maybe 5 to 7 minutes. Like the effect actually is reduced psychological indicator of stress, improved mood, aid healing. And the medical authorities started to see trees. This is very important. For the first time, the medical authorities see not only in aesthetic factors, but can also speeding up recovery and save money.
What are your thoughts on, okay, so you're building an experience that's a bit more virtual, because we're heading more towards that direction, like everything be more automated, like the ways of living, the ways of solving things, etc., which doesn't have to be seen negatively. But I wonder what your thoughts are on the challenge of, okay, then if the people think that they're going to receive the same benefit at a mental level, how do we create segues for them to still be encouraged and, go to these places, even if they have getting older, or if they have any cognitive dissonance or etc. Because I would like to think that it's like when we say we are what we eat, we are what we think, and so naturally we would expect people to crave more for these physical experiences. But I'm not sure if that's really the case. Like, I don't know if you've seen research on that, if actually, younger generations who are exposed in video games and this virtual experiences are looking for that, or in the contrary, they're just getting trapped in it. And, we're not really thinking about that part.
Sure. So, I totally agree. Yeah, it's really interesting and really inside really interesting question actually. And I also have the same doubt about it, because when you design green spaces and then you do something virtual, there is always the risk that people will choose the virtual one instead of the green. I think that ethically, let's say, what we can do as a group, for example, I'm speaking about my team, of course, and my design approach is to give the chance of having the virtual experience just to the people who really cannot enjoy the physical one, not the chance that everyone can get it, because otherwise you lose all the sense in that, you lose. And besides the fact that the impact can be almost the same because of our neuron and because of our brain structure, but we shouldn't give as a team, as a group, the possibility to everyone, because otherwise it becomes a video game. So if you can walk, if you can reach a garden, why you should visit a garden in virtual reality? I mean, there's no sense. It's only if you cannot, because you're in pain or you have problem walking, or that has a sense. But otherwise, we just make a video game that, of course, can be really powerful and can have really big impact, but there's no sense. It's not our aim, our approach, because otherwise we lose all the sense, of that, I think. So it's really interesting, the question, and it's really something we thought about, how to, run away from this option.